Move! No way! No!
Every time I die, I lose my weapon forever, and I lost. A lot. By the halfway point, I was already running out. And by the end, I had nothing left. This is the Weapon Graveyard Challenge. I ended up picking the Wanderer class because, you know, it has the most unique weapon, the scimitar, and you know what, you can't get it unless it drops. So you know what, I'm cool with that. So I end up going into the boss fight, you know, I mean, you know me, come on. I literally whoop the Asylum Demon within a few hits. I mean, come on. Need I say any more? With the first boss down, there's no way that this challenge is going to be hard. I mean, come on. Really? A challenge? Me? A challenge? Come on, please. At the Firelink Shrine, I decided to go on a little scavenger hunt. You know, why not? I need all the weapons that I can get. I mean, I'm not going to need it for the challenge, of course, because, you know, I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to die. But anyway, I take a stop at the merchanter, and, yeah. I spot a weapon that I thought that you can only get from a class, which is the only reason that I started with this class, or a weapon drop. So, like, it's just kind of funny that, like, I thought that, you know, let's go to the next boss, Taurus Demon. Let's go. Now, with the Taurus Demon, I kind of wanted to take a little different approach. You know what? I never used the bombs before. And as you see here, why have I never used the bombs before? These are amazing weapons. He's already at half health by the time I ran out. But it's okay, because when you're the bomb, you don't need any more bombs. You don't need bombs. Do you want me to stop? I can. Anyway, Taurus Demon is down. Second boss is down. You know what? Don't emo. Please don't emo. Stop. Oh, and he's emo. Oh, okay, he's emo. The next weapon I wanted to grab was the Claymore, but for some reason this dragon was not budging. So you know what? I decided to get a little closer, get a little sneak peek. You know, worst mistake I could possibly make. I lost my first weapon being dumb. So you know what? I decided to run it back. Let me get my Claymore. I'm running back. Let me run through. Oh, get a little greedy. Again. Now the gargoyles are a boss that I don't want to be unprepared to go into. So I decided to upgrade myself and be prepared. I don't want to get jump scared. I wanted to show them that I meant business. And boy, did I show them. I started out by singling the first gargoyle out and taking his tail. Pause. Mega pause. But I did so much damage that I overwhelmed him in the beginning. By the time the second one came out, I was just a dodge master. I ended up taking the first one out, and the only thing I had to do was single him out. Wait till he started spitting that breath, and the fight was mine. And just like that, the first bell of awakening was ready to be rung. And I'm not gonna lie, this challenge has been a breeze so far. Only dying 2 times and losing 1 weapon. But this was just the beginning of the challenge, and I knew that there was way more to come. After gathering a little bit more weapons, I made my way to the next boss, the Moonlight Butterfly. This was a very tight fight. Now, the only reason I say that is because I had the broadsword. Why didn't I use the Claymore? Well, I'll tell you why. I didn't want to use the Claymore or any other weapon that I had upgraded because I was scared that I was going to die in this fight. But honestly, I wish I would have risked it. Because if you see how close that this fight gets, just watch. Now, if that isn't the most impeccable timing you've ever seen, I don't know what is. But something insane happened on my way to the next boss. I tried to escape, but there was no escaping it. I lost my broadsword. I mean, it's okay because I didn't upgrade it, but still, I didn't want to lose a weapon. I figured I was about strong enough to try to start getting Black Knight weapons, so I tried to start farming them. But I ended up getting hit in my pinky toe and losing another weapon. So I decided to just wait till later in the game to where I could really take these guys on. I made my way to the next boss, the Capra Demon, with my Claymore. And as soon as I walked in, I was completely overwhelmed. Look at this. So I had to run away and start hacking away at the dogs one by one. And then it was time to start hacking away at him one by one. Like, you know, like a tree, like I'm taking him out. But the craziest thing happened because I got stuck in a corner. It could have been over right there if he didn't move out the way. But I ended up taking the victory and getting the key to the depths where I could go fight the next boss. And on my way there, I ended up grabbing the large ember to, you know, further upgrade my weapons even more. But on my way, I accidentally tabbed out, and this is what happened. Yeah. I lost another weapon, but thankfully, it was my rapier. So, you know, not my claymore, but it's still a weapon also. It's still a bad day, but I was getting to the point in the game where my weapons were doing little to no damage without them being upgraded, so you know what that means. I had to put more on the line, more souls into my weapons, and if I were to die, it would just be a waste of time and waste of resources, so I had to be extra careful moving forward. At least this is a really easy boss, so it really just took me time to just, you know, I had to beat around the bush, you know, like go around, like claim his tail, like, you know. I ended up killing the Gaping Dragon, and I got the Blighttown key, which I was ready to move forward. But I was mistaken. I've beat every boss on my first attempt so far, but this next one was not going to be easy. It was only going to get even more harder from here. Because when I made my way through Blighttown, I kept losing weapons over and over again. At this point, it just seemed like some type of routine that I fell into, where I just would respawn, get a new weapon, lose it, respawn, get a new weapon, and lose it, until I made my way to the boss. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this bit was bad to the bone. So I had to, yeah, my technique was to get close to the boss and hug her, but I ended up getting trapped. And that's where everything fell apart. So I ended up running it back with a different type of axe, and this time I was more cautious. I would keep my distance when I needed to, and I would run back whenever it was safe. And that's what I did, over and over and over, chipping away at her health, slowly but surely. And then Chaos Witch Quelag was defeated, and the second Bell of Awakening was ready to be rung. But that only meant one thing. It was only going to get even more harder from here on out. If this happened in Blighttown, what would happen with Ornstein and Smough? I had to make a little pit stop to go fight CD before I made my way to Sin's Fortress to fight the Iron Golem. And I ended up picking up a few more weapons on my way to Sin's Fortress. I went to fight the Iron Golem, but the most insane thing happened to me. Look at this. What is that? He grabbed me through his legs like he's playing football. This is not football. But it's whatever. I'll let him get his one hit on me, but I'm not letting that slide anymore. So, you know, I had to fast forward, start whooping him. And with that, the Iron Golem is defeated. But before we go to Norlondo, I have to make one more pit stop. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this fight started off a little bit rocky. I mean, you see that? Like, there's rocks. I started with a dagger. The only reason that I started with a dagger is because, I'm not gonna lie, I was overconfident, but no, there was no way it was working. I had to switch back to my Claymore, you know, my old reliable. and I had to take out the stray demon and then get the doll so we could go fight Priscilla. And Priscilla is a pretty easy fight if you follow her footsteps. It's a pretty easy gimmick, but nothing would have prepared me for what happened in the painted world. And just like that, the weapon that carried me through the whole game was gone. Forever. I could never get it back. It was gone. That was it. So, the next best thing was the longsword. And I tried to cut off her tail to get another weapon, but look at this. How am I not getting her tail? What am I doing? Can someone tell me what I'm doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? After Priscilla was defeated, the next fight is one of the best fights in my career. I started off getting absolutely destroyed. I was getting whooped and whooped over and over again. So I decided to take things slow and start predicting and baiting their moves to try to get a feel for the battle. That was the worst thing that they could have done, was to let me learn their moves. I'm gonna let this fight play out so you guys see exactly what happens. Tell me I'm not goated. I got their attack patterns down so well that I started counting how many hits it took to stun them so they couldn't attack me. That's how locked in I was with this fight. I wasn't letting that Claymore death go to waste. I was coming back with revenge. And with Ornstein out of the way, I'm not gonna lie, I was shaking. I was shooken up a little bit, but there was still a job that needed to be finished. So at risk of losing my best weapon at the moment, I just had to overwhelm him but keep my distance when needed. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, that did not work as well as I wanted it to. I was gonna die in this fight, so I had to run into my inventory, take a humanity, and just pray for the best. And thankfully, I ended up securing the bag of Ornstein and Smough, my first attempt. No way. I could not believe it. This is the first time I've ever done that on Ornstein and Smough. Usually I die, you know, a good amount of times, but I ended up making my way to the next boss, which was Gwendolyn. And I'm not gonna lie, he had to pay. At this point in the game, I still had a handful of weapons that I had at my disposal. Yeah, I know, still, big words. One of my favorite was the halberd. Now, the reason I love the halberd is you'll see here on from the video why I love the halberd. With my claymore gone, I needed a new weapon that I could use to take down bosses. So I ended up taking the halberd and putting as many points into it that I could to upgrade it, and thankfully I did so.
An eternal curse upon thee.
The next boss on my hit list was Sif. And I'm not gonna lie, I had to put him down. Okay, I gotta do what I gotta do. So I had to put him down. I had to embarrass him. I just pulled out my halberd, and the fight was already over. With that, it was ready to go to New Londo Ruins, where you'll see a blast from the past. The Claymore. Dill, why do you have the Claymore? And why are you killing this poor civilian? I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was gonna drop a weapon, okay? That's the reason I killed him. I thought he was gonna drop a weapon. I got his key, and I ended up doing this a while ago, okay? This is a backflash. I ended up doing this a while ago just so I could get the very large ember. But now back to the present. I ran to the Four Kings immediately and started wiping them out one by one with my halberd. I was getting pretty low in this fight, so I had to be careful. They kept throwing things at me, and I had to keep dodging. But I ended up triumphing the battle in the end, killing all kings, which makes me the new. I'm the new king. With the 4 kings dead, I was ready to start going after the lords and slaughtering them one by one. I had a whole list planned out of who I was going to kill and when I was going to kill them. But before I did that, I decided that I was strong enough to finally go get the weapons. And sometimes I wasn't lucky enough to get anything. But I ended up bagging one weapon. The Drake Sword. Now, somebody had told me that I can knock off the tail of the dragon to get a weapon. And they were right. I got the sword of a dragon. Their tail is a sword. So I ended up going towards Nito. And I killed Pinwheel. I killed Patches for the weapon. And I was ready to make my way towards Nito. The graveyard... whatever his name is. Nito. Now, coming into this fight, I was absolutely terrified for what was to come. Because every time that I fought Nito, I got destroyed by the skeletons and his ground attack every single time. But when I went after him with the halberd, for some reason, everything just clicked. And I was able to do this. I killed the first lord, aka the hardest lord for me on my first try, and bagged a lord soul. But that wasn't stopping here, because I was on my way to the Bed of Chaos, and there was 2 bosses that were in my way. And the only thing that was stopping me was my halberd from coming at their throats. With the first one down on the first try, I was ready to go after the second one and walk him down. And after defeating the Centipede Demon, I was ready for the Bed of Chaos. But was he ready for me? I ended up running into something very interesting. A new weapon I had never seen before. I grabbed my new weapon, grabbed a broken stray sword, and went to fight the Bed of Chaos, knowing that, honestly, I'm probably gonna die in this fight. So I picked a weapon that does a little to no damage, because the Bed of Chaos has little to no damage, so it just makes sense. I ended up going to the left one, getting the left one. I end up going to the right one, getting the right one, and I run to the middle, and this happens. I get shoved off. Not once, but twice. He smacks me mid-air like he's playing basketball, and he's swatting. He's swatting. Like he stuffed me in whatever. I ended up taking my next weapon, going in there and destroying that little bug. Exterminate. I grabbed some raid. I get it. And I bagged my next Lord Soul. And with that, it was ready to go fight Seath the Scaleless. And he took something from me that I could never get back. my halberd. I ended up falling, losing my halberd. I lost my reinforced club, and I just kept losing weapons over and over because I couldn't fast travel out of there to upgrade any of my weapons. I lost weapons back to back to back to back to back. And at this point, I thought I was gonna lose the challenge until I made it to Seed the Scaleless with my longsword. And I wasn't gonna go easy on him. Now, after losing so many weapons at this guy's castle, I'm not gonna let that slide. I'm not letting that slide. So, I take out his gimmick, and then I take out him with it. I was not letting this guy live to see another day. And just like that, his reign was over. But nothing would take so many weapons out of me than the DLC. And I only had 13 weapons left. There was a list of weapons that I lost MIA that I just don't have footage of, okay? They just fell off the face of the earth, okay? They're gone, okay? They're gone. But I only have 12 weapons left, so I have to use them to the best of my ability. I ended up going in there with my second strongest halberd, but I was still aggressive from Seed the Scaleless castle. I wanted to see him dead. I wanted to see him gone. But that would just set me up for failure in the end. And just like that, my second best halberd was gone. But I wasn't letting that in. I grabbed my server and I slammed it on his head. And I was ready to fight whatever come next. But I ended up losing another weapon on the way. I got absolutely obliterated with the Crescent Axe. I don't even know why I had it equipped. I couldn't even wield it. I ended up going to fight Artorias thinking I was ready, but I was far from mistaken. This guy whooped me over and over again, and I couldn't do anything about it. But I was gonna be back for revenge. And in his reign, he even took my longsword, which I killed Ornstein and Smo and so many other bosses with. But I wasn't gonna give up that easy. Artorias, you're done! You are done, buddy! I got 6 more weapons left, and I got Manus' name written all over them. And if you guys know this, Manus is my biggest op. And I was coming for revenge, okay? Every playthrough that I do, he whoops me, but not this time. Not this time. I got my Zwei on deck, and I'm coming to spank it. Pause. Hard. Pause. Or so I thought. And not only did I die to him, but I died to the dumbest thing ever. Are you serious? I got 5 weapons left in that. Alright, whatever. The next weapon will do me better. Three weapons left. But I pulled out the Gargoyle's Halberd, and I wasn't coming to play. I was coming for that no, just. And I secured the man-ass. I secured the bag. Now with 3 weapons left, I was ready to take down Kamalet. And I knew it was going to be easy. Because Kamalet is one of the... Okay, I thought it was going to be easy. I only had 2 weapons left. The Black Knight sword and the Drake sword. So I had to lock in, or else this challenge was going to be over. And Black Dragon Calumet fell with 2 weapons left. Now, I had the advantage. I had 2 weapons against Gwyn, and I was ready to go face him. And with 1 weapon left, this happened. The challenge was over. Everything, all the items that I went to pick up throughout the whole playthrough was for nothing, because I died at the very last boss. But what if there was a different story, where I told you that I farmed the enemies outside and got the Black Knight Great Axe? Because thankfully, I did that with my Drake sword right before coming in, and this happened. And just like that, the run was over! I did it. I am so happy that I farmed that weapon right before I came in, because if I didn't, I can't take another L, okay? I can't take another L. If you guys want to see another challenge, let me know in the comments, and let me know what you guys want to see else. Because I took a dub on this challenge, okay? I took a dub. I'm tired of taking L's, okay? I appreciate you guys if you guys watched to the end. I appreciate you guys. Like, sub, and let me know what you guys want to see next. I got you, okay? I got you. I'll see y'all next time.